This is a regular meeting of the Ferndale Schools Board of Education being held Monday, December 14th, 2020, being held virtually via Zoom in accordance with the orders from MDHHS regarding COVID-19. The meeting is called to order at 7:02 p.m. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Dookie,
Here.
Hart,
Here.
Abraham,
Here.
Mueller,
Here.
Latash,
Here.
O'Donnell. Did I see him? Going once. President Davison.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 1.2, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 1.3, the approval of the agenda. Do any board members have any amendments they would like to make to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda will be approved as it is, which takes us to item 2, the Ferndale student representatives. Is Kai Walker with us from Ferndale High School?
Oh, I'm here.
Welcome.
I just need to open up my Google Doc. Hi.
Go right ahead.
Just need to find it.
Kai, would you like us to invite Jada to speak first? Or Janae?
Yeah, that would be fine. Sorry, my internet's just really slow right now.
It's no problem. Janae, are you with us tonight?
Sorry, I was just looking around and I don't see her tonight, but Jaslyn is here. I didn't ask her in advance, but she does have the information. Jaslyn, would you be okay speaking tonight?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're fine. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jasmine Coles, and I am the UHS representative, junior representative. So our recent events at UHS is Picture Day and Thankful for You gift pickups, where we will be giving out UHS backpack and mask. We also have Pizza and Politics with City Councilwoman Kat Bruner James. Also at OSTC, Oakland Schools Technical Campus, virtual presentations on Wednesday for all students interested in the program will be taking place. Also, last but not least, Adopt a Family Outreach with UHS social worker, Miss Riley, and UHS PTO for holidays, where we'll be serving meals for Thanksgiving and gifts for Christmas. And thus far, that is all that we have for UHS announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaslyn, for stepping in with no notice for University High School. Has that Pizza and Politics, do you know if that has happened with City Councilwoman Kat Bruner James yet?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that was last week. I actually attended that also. It was a good time.
Thank you. Kai, are you ready for us?
I know Kai has been having internet issues, so might have to give her a moment.
Sure.
I very much empathize with her. Don't be panicking, Kai. feels horrible when everybody's waiting on you and your computer is uploading. This is not your fault.
I'm sorry, I'm going through my shared docs. I shared it with Miss Isaac, but I can't find it, and I'm not sure why because I just had it up.
Well, you're welcome to use it or just share a word or two with us of your own experience recently or things that you want to share.
Well, from what I remember on the doc, I was I brought up how we had a item pickup last week on Friday, I believe, and students got to pick up new gear from the school that represent Ferndale High School and our Golden Eagle mascot. We got, I'm pretty sure the new item were water bottles, and students got to pick up items from other classes, and more information on senior activities for spring is also in the mix. We have our senior gown and cap and gown pictures that will take place officially in the spring. And instead of doing senior pictures normally in the gymnasium on the stairs, we will have selfies, and that will be our senior picture for 2021. Ooh, sorry, Miss Isaac sent me the Google Doc. Thank you so much. Oop. It's coming up. I apologize for the inconvenience again.
It sounds very 2021 to have selfie senior photos.
Yeah, I really enjoyed hearing that idea. I was thinking this is really perfect.
I'm really excited to see that. I think that that's going to turn out great, and it's such like a perfect way to like demonstrate what this year has been like, having everybody like separated in that way and like just showing their own thing.
Yes, and everyone will have their ability to be as creative with the pictures as they can, and it'll be individualized. So I do think that was a very good alternative.
I love this. Are you already brainstorming what you're going to be doing with your picture?
Yes, I've been brainstorming, especially since springtime. The weather will be nicer. Hopefully, I can get like a beach pic, maybe.
Whoa, nice. All right.
But I'm sorry, I cannot open the document.
Well, that's all right. It sounds like there are things in the works for the spring for the high school. And we appreciate you joining us tonight, Kai.
Thank you.
All right, that will move us to agenda item 3, the presentation of the Superintendent's Excellence Award. Dr. Bazzi?
All right, this month I'm excited to share with the community and the board this month's recipient of the Superintendent's Excellence Award, Mr. Lalone, math teacher at Ferndale High School, nominated one of his students. It's with great pleasure to share that this month's recipient is Ethan Hart, who's an 11th grade student at Ferndale High School. Mr. Lalone really wanted to be here this evening, but he had a prior commitment this evening. But I'm going to share a little bit of his submission as well as some words he asked me to share during the meeting specifically with regards to Ethan. So he said, Ethan, what a solid student. Ethan is currently taking calculus as an 11th grade student. He's also a member of the varsity tennis team. He's a member of the ACE program, the National Honor Society. He also is taking Japanese and has taken that at CASA. Ethan enjoys gaming, anime. He enjoys building and tinkering computers. Ethan can put them together, take them apart. He enjoys gaming, which is great. We have our new esports program at the high school, which is wonderful. The specific statement was, Ethan caught my attention after the first assignment in Intro to Calculus. His work is more than complete, accurate, and well-developed. After getting to know him, I came to find out Ethan actually enjoys math. That makes two of us, Ethan. More importantly, I think he enjoys learning and strives to answer his own questions in his own way. He could be wrong, but the reason why he nominated him is I truly think he's one of our rare gifted students who is just as concerned with understanding as he is with grades. He isn't just a math student. He is a well-rounded young man with diverse interests and a full calendar of endeavors and obligations. Mr. Lalone said, keep striving to answer your questions, Ethan. This is my favorite part of this submission. You will soon outgrow my ability to guide you. Let me know when it's time to apply for scholarships, because it will be certainly easy to write one for a student like you. Ethan, you're what exemplifies a student at Ferndale High School. Not only are you a great student, you're a great person with really an interesting and diverse set of skills and likenesses. I'm so excited to see you as you enter, finish up your junior year and go into your senior year. You've made all the right choices, and you're what makes Ferndale such a special place. So on behalf of Mr. Lalone and the Board of Education, I wanted to congratulate you on the award. Ethan, if you want to say something, or Ms. Hart, if you'd like to say something, we'll give you the floor.
I'm very proud of my son, and I thank Mr. Lalone for the recognition and seeing the talent that Ethan has, not just as a math student, but just as an overall student.
All right. Well, congratulations, and we look forward to when we can see you in the hallways at school, Ethan. Take care and be safe.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ethan. And parents. That takes us to item 4, the Outstanding Achievement in Service Award, to be presented by, I believe, Ms. Jeffrey?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Question that's never been asked before. Okay, so I am so excited to give this award, and I know we have several of Ms. Gonska's students here. So if you guys are able to undo your video so she can see you while we're talking about her, that would be amazing. So, so it is my pleasure to recognize and honor Fuel 4th grade teacher Lindsay Gonska for the Outstanding Achievement in Service Award tonight. Mrs. Gonska's work over the last 6 years in Ferndale Public Schools has extended far beyond her incredible work in the classroom as a teacher, particularly through her work supporting our in-need families throughout the district through the Blessings in a Backpack program. Providing food to students and families each weekend throughout the school year. Mrs. Gonska has been the lead champion for this program in the district, bringing it originally to Ferndale Public Schools in 2015 under Derek Adams at Kennedy, when she sought funding, established a community committee, and worked with JFK students to individually pack food for her students on her prep and after school. In her first year, she also led the community in raising over $12,000 to bring the program to Ferndale Public Schools. If you know Lindsay, however, limiting the program to one school was not enough. Over the last 5 years since she brought the program to the districts, Blessings has expanded to provide food to students and families in need to FECC, Lower Elementary, Fuel, and FMS. To give a bit of insight into what this work has looked like, and this list is not all inclusive, so sorry, Lindsay, in advance. But this work has included packing bags weekly, monthly meetings with community and staff volunteers, organizing, writing out and tracking permission slips, organizing and running fundraisers, inventorying monthly, delivering bags weekly, coordinating volunteers, and an endless answering communication about the program. Her innovation and continued commitment to the growth of the program was also evident when she helped to arrange an amazing partnership with Life Skills Village in 2019 to take over the packing of our bags each week, thus allowing for the expansion of the program and making our Blessings program a true full community effort. So I really want to applaud her for that. But perhaps most importantly, however, is that she truly doubled her efforts in the support of our community during the COVID-19 pandemic. Working with a team that included many staff members and community volunteers, and again, not all inclusive, but this includes FPS staff members Elaine Zold, Margie Watson, Ashley Baylog, Deanne McNeil, Bob Francis, and the incredible FPS Transportation Department. Lindsay worked to ensure that there was no stoppage in providing food to our families during our school closure. Beginning in March, Lindsay, her husband John, and her team packed about 130 bags every 2 weeks, loaded buses, and delivered directly to homes for all families, regardless if they lived within the school district, so to our school choice families as well. Now she has created a pickup system for all families and still arranges drop-offs for those unable to pick up in person. As her colleague and Blessings volunteer Elaine Zold has stated, Lindsay has done so much to keep this going. The whole program is funded by the community, so fundraising is a full-time job in itself. She has spent so many hours packing bags and making arrangements to get them to kids. This is not a small commitment that she has made. The lead for Blessings in Michigan, Cheryl Witten, also noted, "It is wonderful you are honoring Lindsay Gonska. From the beginning in 2015, she was concerned with ensuring the children of Ferndale were able to participate in the Blessings in a Backpack program. It has grown from the original 50 children to over 250 children being fed on weekends today." Besides the weekly distribution of bags of food to the children, Lindsay and her team have successfully raised over $25,000 per year to keep the program operating for our kids. Ferndale is very lucky to have Lindsay as a champion of children. And perhaps most importantly, I want to say, it is Lindsay's endless enthusiasm that continues to buoy the program. As one of our lead parent volunteers over the past few years, Kristen Bora stated, her dedication and caring nature for all of the kids is infectious. She truly cares for all of them. I was planning on just packing bags one day after work, and the emotion that she puts into it is so contagious that 5 years later, I'm still part of Blessings because of her. And Kristen's on here with her son, Caden. Lindsay is truly an incredible asset to the Ferndale Public Schools family and is beyond deserving of this Outstanding Achievement and Service Award. Lindsay, on behalf of the district, thank you so much, and to your family. Her parents have packed bags for years, and for your tireless commitment and support for all of our students and families. You'rethebomb.com.
Oh my goodness, I'm so overwhelmed. What an amazing thing. What a wonderful thing to say. Those facts. Katie, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who's on here. My kiddos, I love seeing your faces. And yep, there's my mom too, Lucy Culpa, and my dad's right next to her. And here's my hubby. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I could not be more honored to work with such an amazing community in an amazing community. I'm overwhelmed. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so very much.
Congratulations, Lindsay. As a district, we cannot be more honored by the contributions that you make to our district and our community. It's what makes Ferndale special, and it's incredible to hear the lengths that this program has grown under your guidance and your direction over the years. So thank you so much on behalf of the district.
President Davison, I wonder during the award time, and while we have so many teachers on also, if I could just say a few words about somebody else that I would like to recognize today.
Go ahead.
This is the last board meeting for Trustee Nan Kerr-Mueller, and she has been on the board the entire time that I've been on. She was elected in 2010. Right from the beginning when she ran, she was dedicated completely and totally to fairness and social justice for kids. She's been a relentless advocate for teachers. All along, she had to deal with a lot of really organized opposition to even get at the table. And I am chagrined to say that one of the, that whenever we've been on different sides or different views of an issue, it's been Nan that's been right consistently. And the first time was when she was running and I supported the wrong side. But every time a question of equity or fairness or justice, whether it's for students or families or teachers, Nan has been leading that cause. She's been a conscience of the board, and has persisted with great strength when she was getting outvoted 6-1 or 5-2. She persisted. She helped stop what would have been a terrible decision to build on the contaminated property south of the high school and just open up. I think would have been a very poor program for adult and alternative education. She led opposition to that on the board, and that's the first time that I had a chance to work with her. So I will miss her incredibly on the board. I know she's always been a very active volunteer, and I hope that and I know that we'll see her around the community and around the schools for a long time to come. But Nan, I'm going to miss you, and thank you for your dedication to this district and all of your service on the board.
Thanks, Jim. You know, it's been a complete and utter honor. I have a lot more to say about that, but I'm going to say it later when I can. I'm just going to say it. But thank you. I can't tell you how humbling and what an honor it has been to serve Ferndale. And honestly, at the end, like you talking about, like if I had be working for the teachers and making sure to support the teachers, the paras, the bus drivers, the secretaries, the custodians, and everyone else who's on the front lines every single day. For me, that was always like really important at the core of what I needed to be focused on, because if they feel supported, then our kids are being taken care of, and it's really important that everybody keeps remembering that. But yes, thank you.
Thank you, Nan. Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you, Nan. And that brings us to item 5 on the agenda, the presentation, the building presentation for the month, which also happens to be Kay Jeffrey telling us about fuel.
Okay, so I'm also the host so that I can click. So I have no idea how this is gonna go. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Without any other, okay, all right, great. I can't really see everybody's faces. Okay, so thanks for having me here tonight to spotlight fuel and to show, I really just wanna have our teachers and our students shine. So we, in developing our presentation, the second half of our presentation, much like Heidi's for FECC, is focused on a couple of our initiatives related to the strategic plan. But we also wanted to highlight, honestly, our virtual learning and what it looks like and how it meets our Ferndale 4 pillars. So feel free to stop me as we go, or I've got questions at the end if you have any. So, and I'll share the presentation at the end with the board. Okay, so fuel's one word for the year. If you remember, we do a one word every year. Last year, it was thrive. And this year, given where we all are, we landed on resilient as a staff. It is our staff one word, but we use it with our students, and we talk about it in our announcements and our videos and things like that. But it also anchors everything we do as a staff. So this is our brand new board for when we hopefully have more students back with us, but it also brightens our day and anchors our hallways. So I wanted that just got finished today, so we wanted to give you a show of that. And one of the things that our staff is anchoring in this year is a quote from Elena Aguilar on, if you know yourself well, when you understand your emotions, your social identities, your core values and personality, you can gain clarity on your purpose in life and in work. Being anchored in purpose makes you able to deal with setbacks and challenges. And this is what we have all been living, obviously, the last 10 months in many different ways and forms and degrees. But we have really thought about this as our fifth year as a school at Fuel, and we believe you know, with the guidance we've had over the last few years and the work we've done creating our school over the last 5 years, that we do have a clarity of purpose in our life and work. It is our students, and they are at the center of everything we do. And so what we're going to highlight today is a lot of the staff's ingenuity and their innovation to stay resilient during this time and also bring school to life for the kids virtually. So I wanted to anchor kind of what we're talking about in there. Just as a review, in the past couple of years, like I said, we focused on one thing like culture, or if you remember a couple of years ago, our intervention enrichment groups. And then we went back to our school culture last year. So this year we wanted to present our MacGyver year, otherwise known as our virtual learning, our 4 pillars and strategic plan update. And I've got a MacGyver picture. Yep, I do have a MacGyver picture. So this Tracy Yaks, who is the new K-3 literacy coach through Oakland Schools for us and a longtime Ferndale Public Schools member, she came up with that metaphor. I thought that was perfect. Like, we have absolutely all the teachers in Ferndale, but I'm highlighting Fuel. So we've absolutely MacGyvered this to make the best possible experience for our kids. And we continue to be duct taping and adding more things as we go. So I just love that. I had to, when we were meeting to create this, I had to add that in. So, so our 4 pillars, as you know, are high quality instruction, school culture, intervention and enrichment, and assessment. And so for high quality instruction, what does that look like virtually? We are now at the point where we are doing whole group and small group instructional modes every week, bringing back that same part of the classroom into our virtual classrooms. Obviously, as you all know, we are very heavy on our technology enhanced instruction, which is a key part of our strategic plan, but also something that we've been working on for a long time. We've had key staff members who've gone and gotten trained in things or been interested in things and then shared with everybody. So we use things like Nearpod and many other tech tools that I'll talk about a little later. We give unit assessments just like we would in person, our pre and post, our benchmark assessments, our progress monitoring tools. We're excited about the new Acadience that we've had this year that allows us to do quick screeners and do progress monitoring more frequently than we had in the past. Projects are still on, and again, I'm not going to click through everything, but this is a great example of one of the 5th grade big projects. This one is the Big Hand, where the students lend a hand in the community. In this one, for example, there's a PSA that the student created that will then be played in our student announcements, just like when we are in person, and really trying to extend beyond book work, beyond you know, the whole group instruction to projects and things that kind of get students collaborating and excited. We've had some virtual field trips. Home Depot actually offered some things that we tried out. We're looking into virtual DIA field trips. We have a meteorologist coming to talk to the 3rd graders on Wednesday because they're in their weather unit. The 3rd grade has done a wellness program with Charles Jackson through Friends of Royal Oak Township and MSU Extension. He's also leading our parent university on Wednesday night, their family university. So they've been doing a 5-week course just like they would have done in person. So it's really important, again, for me to highlight like how hard the staff has worked to bring these things, these experiences to the kids in this mode as well. Our essentials and media, I highly recommend popping into any of our essentials classes. We really focused on them being a source of joy for the kids. If you have an elementary kid in your class during gym class, for example, or music, they now have recorders in 4th grade. I'm sure it's quite a blast at home. We have media lessons, and again, just everything in a technology form. And one of the things we're most proud of is that our teacher planning and sharing has been so consistent, so that if you are supporting other families in the same grade level in the community, or if you have kids in different classrooms, that there's as much continuity as possible, especially across those grade levels. That's something we've been working to achieve for 5 years, and this has helped us get there. These are some, you know me, I like to show the images. So these are some great images of some of our pop-ups, our classes with their new fuel hats. This was a science experiment back in October. This is how we do math, the math manipulatives. We've gotten students so many resources during this time through our materials pickups at lower and upper. And so you can see them working. This is 3rd grade, working on arrays and multiplication. Over here, you see their egg shaker and their stress balls as well. School culture, we've really, you know, we've always killed it at culture. I feel like that's really a big focus at our school. We really try to have that whole family feeling, and so we're recreating that through morning meeting, our SEL focus, our essentials classes, as I've talked about. Mrs. Malika offers a refocus time every day from 12:15, which is meditation, student yoga. We have playworks every day virtually. Miss H has been leading some really cool garden pop-ups and garden work for some of our students in learning labs as a recess break. They've dug all the potatoes. And then we have a great optional drop-ins program. The pop-ups I've talked about have been both in-person and virtual. I really want to highlight the work of the materials pickup and gifts that the students have received. There are manipulatives for math and also math packets for those who do the math better, you know, paper, pencil, items for every essential class. Jump ropes just went home. Books, getting more books in homes, hats and goodies for the kids, and most importantly, an equitable distribution of resources as much as possible. How do we get every resource we possibly can into our kids' hands? Montessori has done a really cool Sassafras box. Montessori is a very hands-on, manipulative-based program. The parents have helped significantly in developing materials, so just really cool stuff. We've done home visits, celebrations. We made a gratitude video. Mrs. Lapp put that together, just like we did in the spring for the kids. Just really focusing on connection and staying connected to each other. And in the last month, we've listened to student feedback. They wanted more social time, so Senor Uresti is now running social lunches, Pokemon group, Miss Watson's doing Among Us group. We have student-created writing clubs, student-created tech clubs, student-created art club that Miss Baylog runs, so really trying to do the same things we did, again, at school virtually. Our family university events, Mrs. Keefe and I have been very proud of. We have had 4 this year, all led by people not us. So we did an internet and safety at home led by fuel parent Sean McKeever, health and safety with one of our district nurses, Kelly Berryman. Mr. Gardner led an amazing restorative practices one in November, and our next one is with Mr. Jackson from Friends of Royal Oak Township on eating well and being healthy for adults. These are some more pictures. Is Alex still on? That's you, Alex. This is Mr. Williamson delivering Slurpees. This was a pop-up. Rowan here is doing, they did, Ms. Karp and Mr. Davis did a bread baking pop-up last week. That was really cool through a grant. This is Miss H and some of our kids, both in a pop-up and some of our Learning Lab kids out digging and making use of the garden. For our pillar for intervention and enrichment, we have our Learning Lab supports, and again, like I discussed, small group, all of our tier 2 interventions, our tier 3 interventions, our special education teachers and ancillary staff have been in every Tuesday and Thursday or Monday through Thursday working with our kids in person. We have started Orton Gillingham lessons. This is K3, and that has been very specific phonics instruction. That's amazing. That was something the district provided last year, training for our staff in K3. So I see Nan like, yeah, it's amazing. It's going to be amazing, or whatever that word is. Pop-up opportunities we talked about. We've also, Miss Watson's done some really cool makerspace opportunities out on the playground when it was warmer. Fridays, with the addition of Fridays, we now have more targeted small group instructional time. Those are at level and they're flexible groupings, so they may change week to week based on what students need. The technology we provided, like IXL, allows for appropriate skill levels and students to feel, both get immediate feedback and also feel that they're progressing at skills both at their level and at grade level. And then some cool examples I'm going to show you on the strategic plan piece is we've also really started to work on our differentiated output, some differentiated assessments, which are things like asking the same questions of students, but making it easier for students to access. So maybe highlighting by colors and multiple choice options, or providing 3 or 2 options instead of 5 options. So making it more accessible for some of our students. That's been through Oakland School Start training. We've been rolling that out the last year and a half. Our special education update, our learning labs we have many of our students coming. It's awesome to see them in person every day, and they get some in-person support and virtual support. And one of the things Ms. Williams wanted to highlight is something amazing that the district has done is to provide virtual para trainings with during some of that asynchronous time when they are not live with their students. So that has included trauma-informed practice for paras, autism training, behavioral supports, instructional supports, restorative practices, and a really cool new para kit that has things like fidgets and different tools that they can use to support their kids, both virtually and when we're back in person. Our special ed staff is engaged in virtual instructional professional development, and they are providing highly individualized virtual instruction for their students. I've been in many classes. I know Ms. Kulikowski has. They're doing an incredible job. I cannot highlight them enough. And we're trying co-teaching in some classrooms, which is something we wanted to be doing in the elementary level for a while. We were able to create some schedules that allowed for more co-teaching that we hope to translate back into the classroom when we are in person. And then just materials too. Our parents gave the biggest shout out the last material rollout. We were able to get fidgets for many of our students, and there was a lot of gratitude, I know, from families at home for that. So very proud of our special ed staff as well. So here's some examples. This was Hat Day, and some of our kids with a little celebration for Mr. George. And yes, they do go outside for recess during labs and everything like that too. So just wanted to give you a little insight. And the last part before I just run through the strategic plan update is that, you know, we did give our students some surveys and focus. There's many questions, but these were 2 screenshots I wanted to show you. Which of our school charter emotions do you feel most during virtual school? The top 2 were happy, was the number 1, and safe was the number 2. I thought that those were interesting. I wanted to share. And which of these learning programs do you think are working for you? We also asked which are not working for you. And our SIP team has used that to develop many of the things we've done in November and December. So for example, the student social groups and the social lunches, those are directly from student survey results that they were missing each other and really wanted to do that. So, and they love Seesaw. That was the number 1. Seesaw and IXL were very well liked. I left IXL off originally. That's why, so when you look at like the 150 write-in answers, those are IXL. So just wanted to share that with you guys, that we are trying to still get our student voice in. That's an integral part of our culture at Fuel. So briefly, these are just our strategic plan update. Under empowerment, I wanted to highlight building the positive district-wide environment of high expectations that is inclusive and engages all stakeholders objective. And our team wanted to focus on 2 things that were from last year that we are continuing this year. These are our big rocks. The first one was our math discourse talk moves. These are things like can students during math instruction use retell, like hear somebody else talking about a math program and restate what the students are saying, agree, disagree. We've got these cool little talk handles that Lower innovated that we're using now too, so that students can hold up if they agree or if they disagree, and then be able to give responses. And can you add on? So this was the problem, here was the explanation, can you add on? So these are things we were trained in last year and started using, and we've extended it now. Our goal is not just in math, but that's used in all content areas. So I've been really happy to see that in my observations, and it gets students talking more than the teachers. The second goal action item under this objective is culturally responsive teaching with a focus on implicit bias and equity training. We have monthly staff meetings where at least 30 to 45 minutes of our 2 hours together has an equity focus. So we've done some things through that US Squared has provided us, but also some of our own research and our own dialogue within our staff members. We've used many implicit bias videos and then had dialogue. One of the things you'll see here is an example of a visible thinking tool that we then use to have those dialogues in small groups as teachers. So when I share it out, if you'd like, you can click on that. Under excellence, the objective we wanted to discuss was to develop and evolve our curriculum and assessments to ensure high quality instruction for all students while reducing the achievement gap. So our action items here that we wanted to share on were differentiated output and then our professional learning around this goal. Differentiated output is our big rock number 2. Where we began with this is that we had one teacher, general ed teacher in each grade level who were trained with our special education staff from some of the START trainings at Oakland schools. And then our goal is a train the trainer model via the PLC times. So where our key staff then are able to work in smaller groups at grade level on things. So I am gonna click on this just to show you kind of an example. So this, is it still sharing? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, so this is an example of a 4th grade Journeys test that was put into Google Forms so students could take it virtually and provide the teacher immediate feedback. So, they put the test that's normally, done on paper and pencil and done it here. So as you see here, like this is an example of a vocabulary question based on the story that they read. And here are 3 answer options. So as they go through the test, and I'm going to scroll down again, you're going to have this so you can look more in depth later. Nan, this is 4th grade. I think this is great practice here. So they also, again, instead of like 4 answer options, there might be 3. Down here, a little bit tougher question, which sentence best describes Kara's character versus a vocabulary question. Now there's 2 options where some of our tier 1 students would have 4 options. So the goal is to make it more accessible for all students and less overwhelming for many of them. And again, this is from the START training at Oakland schools. And then I want to show a math example. This is overwhelming. Is Ethan still on here? He's probably like excited about this. This is an example of our topic 15 math assessment, if it will load. I know I'm taking too much time. There we go. So an example of differentiated output on this kind of assessment is instead of the angle saying AFC, BFC with no colors, certain students would get a color-coded assessment. Lindsay, you can say if I'm saying anything wrong. This is your grade level. So this again makes it more accessible for some students who need that extra layer of support and lets us see that do they know the math versus can they read the math. And so these are some examples. And again, I'm happy to talk at another time further, but you can get into those later as well if you would like. And let's see, staff professional learning under this goal. Again, our special education staff have been leading PD sessions and will continue small group professional development around differentiated output, differentiation, executive functioning, student accountability. They gave us a little preview back in November and our special ed staff will be continuing that. So really trying to continue to grow our best practices for all of our students under that strategic plan goal. And then under environment, the objective we wanted to share was expanding upon the incorporation of relevant and instructionally sound technology to support the educational experience of all learners. And I just want to say under this one, fuel was going to be 1-to-1 this year. We were really, Danya and the board had approved that we were really going to try a 1-to-1 building, and I just want to say thank you because you did it for the whole district, and it was the absolute thing that had to happen for our children and our families, and I'm just very proud of how hard the district worked. I put here, this was under fuel. I got to claim it, but it's really you guys and Danya in the tech team, but just the relentless pursuit of devices for all students and hotspots. And again, we would be continuing that as we move forward. And then there are our other action item that was under this one was leveraging digital for intervention enrichment. I talked briefly about that, but IXL allows for that, Reflex Math allows for that, Nearpod now has, our teachers are doing some really cool things with asynchronous Nearpods that the students can do in small groups and then help and support each other. Envision has enrichment and reteaching opportunities. And you just saw actually how 4th grade, for example, is using Google Forms and things to differentiate. So, okay, that's it. Any questions?
Got it all.
I have questions. I always have questions. So my first question is, what is this journey text thing? Is that through Google Docs? Like, how does, like, that's really cool.
Journeys is our curriculum. And normally they're paper, Lindsay, correct me if I'm wrong, they're paper pencil tests. And so we,
okay, so that wasn't, hold on. So that wasn't the thing that you were showing us where it was like Kara's character shows, that was Journeys.
So that was an example of people going above and beyond. Like that was the Journeys test put into a Google form with images for students and different options. So some students would have had 4 or 5 multiple choice options. Some maybe had 2 or 3 to make it more accessible. Wow.
Brilliant. Oh my gosh, that was really cool. In the math differentiation, how amazing was that? That's so cool. By the way, you are also the bomb.com, just so you know. Just listening to that presentation made me so excited about your school. Like I'm fired up about what's going on there. So great job.
All them. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Quickly, just to add one thing, Mike, if I may.
Go ahead.
Katie, you give us credit, but you and your teachers have always advocated in terms of what's best for students, and you bring those things up at meetings, at discussions, and it's that advocacy that leads to the board and myself, you know, believing. And as I said, there's nothing you don't do at, I'm a mathematician, so I have to say at 100%, because there's no such thing as 105%. But you don't bring anything that's less than 100%. And you have a wonderful staff as well who support you as their leader. And you know, it's amazing to see the great things that are taking place at Fuel. And I appreciate everyone's hard work and the detail of differentiation to meet the individual needs of our students. It's well thought out, and certainly everyone's going above and beyond. And again, we appreciate it deeply.
And Katie, this is Stacy. I just want to say thank you, because you and your staff, my son every day gets up for school and he is so happy and engaged and honored. And I just, I want to say kudos to you and your staff, because as a teacher, as well as a parent, you all are doing an amazing job. I mean, I give kudos to Mrs. Keith for, building that foundation at lower and then having him transition to upper. He would love to be there in person, but I would just have to say that every day I walk by that room and I see him so engaged. I mean, he comes to me showing me all his assignments and what he's doing. And I'm just totally amazed at how, I didn't know how, tech savvy he was to be a 3rd grader, but my hats go off to all of the staff, you as an administrator. I mean, I'm just overjoyed. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy. I want to add, because you brought something up I forgot to put in there. I said it to our parents in our video on Sunday night. And in my newsletter, if you're reading my mic, or you're one of my parents, I really want to highlight what Stacy just said about how resilient our students, all levels. But I want to, I'm with the little kids now. How resilient they are, and what different skill set that they now have that they would not have had in person. Doesn't exchange for in person. It certainly, there's nothing that does that, but they show so much resilience and so much innovation. And like, I watched them sharing screens and they're very creative, and they are going to come out with some skills that we wouldn't have been able to nurture in person probably. It doesn't make up for that, but I want to highlight how awesome the students have really been.
Thank you, Katie. It's, yes, as a parent of Fuel students, I know that they are coming away with skills that they just wouldn't have had. It's not to say that there isn't a loss, because there is, without a doubt. And my son has already had the opportunity to participate in one of Mr. Uresti's lunchtime social groups, and he really appreciated it. So thank you for all the good work that you're doing there at Fuel, and to your staff as well. So that will take us to agenda item 6, public comment. This is the time for public participation in the meeting. The Board of Education intends for the public to have many opportunities to address the board and administration of the school district, whether it's through emails or phone calls or face-to-face meetings or school board meetings. We welcome individual and group input into the important issues that confront our schools. As noted, this is a meeting of the school board open to the public, so we want to provide fair and impartial guidelines for participation as required by the Open Meetings Act, and to encourage transparency and equal treatment for everyone in attendance. To meet these goals, please note, we ask you to identify yourself, and if you would like the district to respond, please email Dr. Bazzi's assistant, kimberly.shepherd@ferndaleschools.org, if you would like a response to your comments. We will give you the opportunity to speak. Each person will have the opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes. And the Vice President, Ms. Dookie, will give you a warning when you're approaching your 3-minute limit, if that's the case. The public comments are for both non-agenda and agenda items. In the event that the number of people wishing to comment requires longer than 30 minutes, the public comment would be postponed and picked up again at the end of the meeting. Please note that complaints about staff should be made outside of school board meetings and should follow the applicable school board policy. Please contact the superintendent's office if you have any questions regarding that item. The board cannot respond to complaints about employees in public. This is meant to promote fairness to the staff person and the complainant. And lastly, the Ferndale Public Schools community acts with great civility toward one another. So please help us to maintain that tradition during public comment. So if you'd like to address the board tonight, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself, and we'll take turns.
It looks like maybe I'll go. I'm Trina. I have 2 kids in the district, one at lower and one at upper. And so I just wanted to publicly acknowledge all of the incredible work that you all as a board and all the staff have been doing to try to support all of our humans in these incredibly difficult times. So thank you so much. And I just wanted to raise one particular point around special education students. Okay. I wanted to raise a point around special education students, and in particular, their connection to learning labs. And at the elementary level, learning labs are 8:30 to 11:30. But school is 8:30 to 3. However, a lot of our outside supports that we're all getting, such as mental health services or other things, they cannot be used during school hours. So there's a number of families that are kind of stuck, particularly in the afternoons, without a lot of options for support. So I just wanted to raise that to make sure that everyone was aware, and to perhaps encourage you all to consider, there's a set of kids that are already coming every day. So it's not like adding new kids at learning labs, but perhaps considering the expansion of learning labs through the afternoon at the elementary level, since we all have acknowledged, and I've heard you guys talk about it, how important you know, the younger kids and particularly the special education students are at that level. And then I will mention just one other thing in case folks haven't seen. So I'd be curious to know how many kids and families are taking especially the lunches that are being prepared. So my kids have always had free and reduced lunch. And I've always been a parent that said, you know, you take what you get, right? That's what we have to offer. But this year, I will just say that the quality of food has been really a problem. I feel like I know it's under really difficult circumstances because it has to be, you know, packaged, right? I understand all of those things.
About 30 seconds.
Thank you. But I'll just say that I think that we should figure out a new way, perhaps, or at least perhaps allow kids to just take things like fruit and milk or something rather than having them take these unidentified, you can't even identify the food sometimes in these sack lunches. And now they're getting 3 of them again. So just wanted to make sure folks knew and that hopefully there's something we can do about the food as well. Thank you again for all of you guys' hard work.
Thank you, Trina. If you'd like to address the board, just go ahead and unmute yourself and proceed. All right. Is there anybody else? Okay, we will close public comment and move on to section 7 of the agenda, the consent agenda. Item 7.1, the request to approve minutes of our last regular meeting. Item 7.2, the request to approve bills and accounts for the month of November. Item 7.3, the request to approve resignations and new hires. And item 7.4, the request to approve the Head Start Director's Report. Are there any consent agenda items that members of the board would like to pull from the consent agenda? Seeing none, the consent agenda will stand as it is. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move.
Moved by Jackie and seconded by
Second.
Jim. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd?
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Ibrahim. Ibrahim.
Muted.
You're
I saw
muted,
him.
Anna.
Anna, you're muted.
Yep. Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Latash,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
President Davison.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the consent agenda is approved. That moves us to section 8 of the agenda, the action agenda items. 8.1, the request to approve the middle school, high school social justice curriculum.
So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I see that we have Ms. Gillespie with us. This follows the same, this follows the same presentation that was shared at the Committee of the Whole meeting. I am gonna share the 2 course outlines that Ms. Morden and Ms. Gillespie shared with us at that meeting for 2 new courses. Ms. Gillespie, do you want to give us like a 1-minute summary of both classes for people who weren't able to attend the last meeting before the board votes on it? Or am I putting you on the spot?
You are absolutely putting me on the spot. But I
You did such a great job. I don't want to mess it up.
Well, you wouldn't mess it up. You should give yourself more credit. We created 2 social justice electives that will take students through a study of a wide variety of inequities that we see in not just our local communities and our national communities, but also the global community. And this course strives for them to be positive agents of change, I think is my elevator pitch.
That's perfect. So in the board packet for the community, what it includes is the presentation that was provided to us at the committee of the whole, as well as the course syllabi for each of the courses. The goal is to implement these into second semester as electives currently, and then continue to improve and expand on the social justice curriculum. Any questions? Motion?
Well, I'll make a motion to support adoption of this. I think this was the best, the most comprehensive and well-presented curriculum, and understandable, not all full of jargon, which Dr. Bazzi knows that I'm not a big fan of. But it's just I'm so impressed with Ms. Gillespie and Ms. Morden's preparation, and really well constructed. I'm happy to support this.
And I'd love to second it, but I want to give Nan the opportunity.
I want to see more acronyms, so I don't know. Like,
I was hoping you'd flip a table in excitement, Nan.
This is really exciting. I'm trying madly to read it as she's scrolling through. Yeah, I would love to second this.
Moved by Jim and seconded by Nan.
I withdraw my motion, and because I want Nan to be the mover on this. I'll second.
Kim.
Are you guys ready?
I just want to say that it was a really extensive and fantastic presentation that we received during our committee of the whole meeting, and we appreciate the work that both Ms. Gillespie and Ms. Morden have put into this on behalf of the district students.
And can I just echo that and thank Ms. Gillespie and Ms. Morden, who I saw on the Zoom too. This was an amazing presentation, and it's been a week, and I'm still excited to have goosebumps. So thank you, thank you.
Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Hart.
Yes.
Ibrahim. Ibrahim.
Yes.
Kermuller.
Yes.
Latash.
Yes.
O'Donnell.
Absolutely.
Dookie.
Yes.
President Davison.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 7 yes votes. Item 8.1, the request to approve the middle school and high school social justice curriculum it's approved. Agenda item 8.2, the request to approve the FECC playground equipment purchase.
Good evening, everyone. We talked about this in our committee of the whole meeting last week, but we're very excited. This is going to be our first project that we're going to kick off this summer. We've been designing it for over a year, working with our architect, Wakely, and we have a playground consultant, Ventura. We've been having meetings with the FECC administrative staff, and we've come up with what we think is the best option for this playground on the west side of the building. So the 3 small play areas will be completely removed, and we're going to install a brand new playscape that runs the extent of the entire west side of the building. This play equipment that we're asking you to purchase tonight is the first part of the process. Our consultant has asked us to purchase it direct because this way we will save the sales tax. And then also, if we were to include this equipment into the bid package, then the contractors would mark it up. So this will save us a substantial amount of money by purchasing this equipment ourselves. Then once we write the bid packages, the contractors will be responsible to install all this play equipment. Obviously, you can't purchase or use sinking fund dollars to purchase equipment that's not fixed into the ground. It's considered equipment. So we ran this list by our attorneys at Miller Canfield, and this is the breakdown you can see here. So from the sinking fund, we're asking for $163,283.11. And then for some picnic tables and other things that aren't affixed to the ground, we're asking for a general fund of $3,360.91 for a total equipment cost of $166,644.02. This equipment is actually going to be purchased through a national government procurement service called Sourcewell, which we're a member of. So the equipment has already been bid out on the market. So we are getting the best price for it. Is there any questions on this? It's going to be the highlights of the play are two large play structures. There's going to be an 18 by 18 foot shade area with a musical playscape below it. There's going to be a concrete trike path that actually encircles the entire playground, so the children will have an opportunity to use that. And along that trike path, we'll have bridges, they'll have signs, they'll have gas pumps, you know, things that will really involve some interactive play. So we're very excited about this playground. Any questions?
This looks great, Jamie. And I have to say, one of the reasons I'll be sad to leave the board is that I won't be there for every presentation that you give in the future because they're so infectious and so much fun. I'm super excited. So I may drop in. I maybe just get give me the 411. Jamie's giving a presentation tonight. Yeah, this looks great. I'm super excited.
You can't leave me. You have to still go on tours with me.
I will go on tours with you. It'll be fun. And this is so exciting for a school and a program that's like exploded and done so well and like just really building up and becoming such a strong part of our school district. I'm really happy to see this happening.
Yeah, we want this to be the calling card. We want parents to drive by and say, I absolutely have to have my kids play in this area. It's going to have a nice ornamental fence that encircles the whole playground. All the areas that you see left of the swing set that's shown there is going to be the poured in place surfacing. We will still have wood chips under the swings because they said those poured in place play surfaces wear down with the kids kicking on the swings there. But this is going to be a really super nice play area. So we're very excited about that.
Is there a motion to approve the FECC playground equipment purchase? Moved by Anna. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Sandra. Any other questions or discussion?
It looks adorable. I like the little river.
A roll call, Ms. Shepherd?
Ibrahim?
Yes.
Vermueller?
Yes.
Latash?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Dookie?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
President Davison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the request to purchase the FECC playground equipment is approved. That brings us to agenda item 8.3, the request to approve the amended budget for the 2020-2021 school year.
So this we're going to hand off to Nancy Hoover, our Assistant Superintendent of Finance, who will share with you the typical 2-pager for the budget amendment, as well as a little bit more detail in a PowerPoint. Nancy, it's all yours, and just tell me next slide whenever you're ready.
Okay.
and where you want to start. If you want to start with this or PowerPoint.
Start with the PowerPoint, Tanya.
You got it.
Okay. So this PowerPoint, we're showing a comparison of our actual for 1920 with our original budget. And then the final column is our amended budget, then showing the difference. As you can see, there's a large increase in the total revenue from just over 36 million to 39.5 million. The majority of that increase is due to a couple things. The first, under state revenue, the 1.7 million, we had originally budgeted a projected loss in foundation of $350 a student. And we were very fortunate that that did not come to fruition. We were able to maintain our foundation from the prior year, as well as we received a categorical increase of $65 a student. So from what we budgeted, it's an increase of $450 a student. We also, based on the adjusted FTE model that the state created and the number of students that we have, we had an increase over the budgeted number. We budgeted 3,043 FTE, and with the adjusted calculation, we're at approximately 3,077. And again, that's before the audit. So it looks like we're going to have an increase of around 34 FTE. So that accounts for the majority of the increase in the state revenue. The federal revenue is the $1.8 million increase. That's due to all the COVID grants that we received. We received in total 2.3 million, but 361,000 of that was included in the original budget. So right there, you're just seeing the $1.8 million increase. So for a total increase in revenue in this first amendment of almost $3.3 million. Okay, so for the expenditures, so you're seeing some of the larger increases we have. Instruction is one area. We, as you know, you improved hazard pay for a lot of our employees. That's included there. And then if you go down to operations and maintenance, you see a $240,000 increase. And that's because of the COVID grants and all the PP&E that we had to purchase. And then under other supports, other central support, what's included in there is technology. And again, the majority of our COVID grants were spent on technology, laptops and the software to run our online system, all those types of things are purchased there. So that's the majority of the increase we have there in expenditures of the 1.5 million. Okay, and then, so then we also show in our beginning fund balance, we had originally budgeted almost $7 million. When the final audit came in, we were at almost 7.2 million. So that's a difference of 168,000. Bringing our ending fund balance to, after all the amendment, to almost $7.1 million. And that is about 17.8% of expenditures. Now, right now, though, our expenditures are artificially high because of all the COVID money. So if we didn't have that COVID money in there, our fund balance would be higher than 17%. It would probably be closer to 19 or 20% of fund balance. So, and that is, we do have, we are not quite balanced. We're $87,000 of expenditures over revenue, so just a little bit.
That's a great improvement over where we started the year. We started the year with a projected deficit of about 1.2 million. We knew that when we set that, though, that it was based on the recommendation to put in a $350 per pupil cut based on that. And as Nancy explained, the way that they're doing the pupil accounting is based on, the majority of it is based on last year's count, which we saw that to be higher. We still need to be, I know we're approaching a fund balance of 19%, and I agree with everyone that you know, being between 15 and 20% is ideal, probably closer to 15%, but we really still have to be cautious because there's still a possibility that we'll experience a negative supplemental this year where they'll actually cut funding at the end of the year. They did the same thing last year. Nancy, what was the number that they cut last year?
It was $175 a student.
$175 per pupil at the end of the year when you've already basically almost expended everything for the year. Also, our count next year will be based on, you know, what our count actually is. And right now, due to the pandemic, we do have a lower count than what was, you know, would be expected in a normal year. So we really have to see coming this summer and then the start of the school year in terms of our pupil count, as well as what our funding looks like at the end of this year and into next year. But certainly some great news that we're pretty much break even this year without having to lay anybody off and being able to support our students and staff in different ways.
Yeah, and to piggyback on what Danya was just saying too, the fact that we do have such a very stable fund balance, that enabled us in last spring, that when we were negotiating with our groups, that we were able to give them a step, you know, in a very uncertain time, we were able to give them that step so that they knew, you know, going into the next year that they had already had that raise, and give, you know, very small raises. But we were, you know, if not the only school district, one of a very few that were able to do that. So I think that says a lot for the board, and you know, being very conservative and, you know, allowing us to maintain this fund balance so that we don't have to have the ups and downs with our staff.
One last thing, and as Nancy said, by having the fund balance, it allows us not to have to borrow for cash flow purposes. Saves us a good chunk of dollars in terms of interest that we would have to pay. Again, it makes no sense because schools are funded in a way where they get paid, but to ensure cash flow to actually pay people, it's done in a way that is not sustainable. Like you have to borrow, pay interest for the money that's guaranteed to you. But that's that we have to lobby to have changed, obviously.
Is there a motion to approve the amended budget for the 2020-2021 school year? Moved by Sandra.
Second.
And seconded by Anna. Questions or discussion?
Just thank you for putting all this together. I know it's been a crazy year financially, with all the new money flooding in and the need to spend it by the end of the year.
Nancy made sure that we spent it. She was, she made it clear that we had to expend it.
Well, I just want to echo what Dr. Bazzi said. It's definitely great to have a much lower deficit for the year than anticipated. So thank you, Ms. Hoover, for all the good work that you do. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Mueller,
Yes.
Latash,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
President Davison.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the amended budget for the 2020-2021 school year approved. That brings us to agenda item 8.4, the extended COVID-19 learning plan December reconfirmation hearing.
So I'm going to hand it off to Johanna Marakna, our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction.
Good evening. This month's reconfirmation hearing is short, just like last month's. On the agenda, you can see that we have 2 changes. We have no pop-ups and no athletics because of the governor's order right now. Other than that, we are continuing to run, and after we submitted this, we also have a pause on our some of the additional interactions that we've had with kids, but no pop-ups, no athletics for the time being. The approved plan is listed there. You can also see comments from the last board meeting. There was 1 comment, so that's noted there as well for public comment. We will continue to note public comments that relate to the e-call plan and upcoming plans, and then our attendance rates are at the bottom for our 2-way interactions. And you can see that they have been pretty consistently high, so we're happy about that. And a big shout out to all of our teachers who are calling and reaching out and ensuring that our students are showing up to class. So we know that they are working hard. So that's it for our reconfirmation plan this month.
One thing to add is as we go into the new year with numbers the past couple weeks have been on the decline, as well as the rollout of the vaccine. This is something we're going to have a lot of conversations about with the eventual return to students coming in person, hopefully when it's safe to do so. So at the next few board meetings, this is something that we're going to continue to look at in terms of looking at student survey, looking at health data, and start really planning and not wait till things are happening. Again, not to say I don't have a crystal ball. We don't know when that will happen, but we have to have the discussions and ensure that the planning is done with all stakeholders and we get the necessary guidance from the board as well as we progress through.
I think I know, Dr. Bazzi, that you and your team have created plans that the district will be able to enact based, or for us to consider, I suppose, for us to consider enacting as things improve, and we'll use the guidelines of the metrics that the board has approved to plan a return to school.
Yeah, that's something we'll be working over the next 2 to 3 weeks, Mike, to really finalize. Obviously, a lot of schools had dabbled with returning to in-person.
Just to add to that, the previous plan that we put together was based on the data from the first survey, and the data from this survey is significantly different from that. So we're embarking on looking at creating a new plan that matches the new data with stakeholder input as well.
Thank you. Norman was telling me good night. It's so I appreciate you coming. So yeah, we'll continue to keep the dialogue and the discussions out, but you know, obviously nothing can replace in-person learning. It has been an interesting experience, one that I think students will, like Katie Jeffrey stated, there'll be some they learned as a result of it that they wouldn't have. But I think we're all hoping that eventually it will be safe for us to come back in some way.
Absolutely. Is there a motion to approve the extended COVID-19 learning plan December?
I move.
Moved by, I think that was Nan.
Yeah. And I'll second.
Seconded by Jackie. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Latosh,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Kermuller,
Yes.
President Davison.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the extended COVID-19 learning plan for December is passed, approved. Agenda item 8.5, the request to approve the second read of Neola policy special update for November 2020.
Do you want me to jump right in, Neola? I didn't know if you were going to introduce it, Mike.
Oh,
That's okay. I got it.
I thought I did.
No, that's okay. I'm sorry. Norman really threw me off my game today. So this month is probably the shortest, easiest Neola update that we've ever had. I don't want to. Yeah, I know it's exciting when there's one update. There's one update to make sure that we're in accordance with the MIOSHA regulations in terms of working from home. So this policy just puts us in compliance in terms of if people are able to work from home, that we facilitate that, but with the understanding that we are a school and there's some essential work like special education services, administration, and things of that nature where we're required to come in because it's needed to be able to run the school district. So the new policy is policy 8450.05, which we reviewed at the previous committee of the whole. As the first read at this meeting, we're asking the board to approve it. Again, this makes sure that we're in accordance with the MIOSHA regulations. There's typically with Neola, you see some options. This is just strictly aligned to the new regulations that were passed as it relates to COVID-19.
Is there a motion to approve the second read of Neola policy special update November 2020?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sandra, I believe, and seconded by Jim. Questions or discussion? Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Kermuller,
Yes.
Latosh,
Yes.
President Davison.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the second read of Neola policy update, the special update for November 2020 is approved. That takes us to agenda item 8.6, the request to approve the nomination of candidacy for Sandra Dookie to the MASB Board of Directors election. So Sandra has, I'll say this, Sandra has chosen to run for the MASB Board of Directors, and we as a school board completely support her in doing that because she has, in her years on the school board, been an incredible advocate for equity in education, both in our district and expanding beyond as well in Oakland County. And she looks to share her wisdom with the state. So we can't be more happy than to support Sandra and her candidacy. Does anybody have any comments that they would wish to make?
I'm super excited about this. Sandra is very qualified and she's going to do a great job. She's going to make us all proud. And she's going to make Oakland County a better place for it.
Ditto.
Here.
Yep, I agree. I move to nominate Sandra Dukey to the MASB Board of Directors.
Moved by Jackie.
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Dookie.
Sure.
Hart.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes.
Ibrahim.
Definitely, yes.
Kermuller.
Absolutely.
Latash.
Most definitely.
O'Donnell.
Yes.
You got to keep it going. President Davison.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sad we didn't get it indubitably in there.
I know, right?
Right?
Jim.
Yeah, I'm a little brain mush today.
It's too late for that.
With 7 yes votes, the nomination of Sandra Dukey for her candidacy to the MASB Board of Directors is approved, which brings us to item 9 on the agenda, informational items, 9.1, the budget to actual report. Danya, you're muted.
I'm muted. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the sharing screen, so I can't see that I'm muted. All right. So Nancy prepares this for us each month, our budget to actual. Obviously, because of the COVID relief dollars, it's showing a lot of variance between last year's budget and this year's budget. But nonetheless, the variance is explained via the footnotes. Ultimately, what we're really measuring is what percent budget we have expended from last year to this year. Again, you see about a 2% variance, a little over, which is a little bit higher than expected. But again, that's due to the additional revenue that we've seen come our way due to state and federal dollars that were not in our original budget. So hopefully the amendment will square a lot of this away. And again, Nancy puts the footnotes for the variance, and again, nothing unexpected, and still financially in a good place mid-year.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bazzi. Item 10, there were no pulled consent agenda items. Item 11, our next special board meeting is our annual organization meeting being held on January 4th, 2021. And our next special board meeting that's a committee of the whole will be held January 11th, 2021. And our next regular board meeting will be held January 25th, 2021. And that takes us to item 15 on the agenda, the Eagles Points of Pride comments for this month.
I feel like I already went.
I guess I'll go first this go round, and I'm just going to echo a lot of what Jim said and say, Nan, thank you for your years of service. You leave some big shoes to fill. And just, I look forward to you still being around doing other things, just not at the board table or calling and nagging from the other side saying, you guys should be doing X.
I'll go next. I just want to say, Nan, I want to thank you. I don't know if I should thank you, but for recruiting me many, many years ago in the community. I'm really gonna miss you. I've learned a lot from you over the years, and I just wish you the best, and definitely stay in touch. And I look forward to seeing how your career and your life flourishes after your work on the board is complete this month.
I'll go next, if that's okay. Nan, I just wanted to thank you for everything that you've done for the district and all of us. You come to every meeting radiating just joy and warmth and compassion, and that's really just grounded us as a board, I think, and helped move us through some really tough times that I don't know if we could have made it with as much grace and compassion as we did without you having been there. You come with every decision that we have to make, always focusing on what's best for our kids and what's best for our staff and our teachers. And that has really, I think, just made a strong foundation for this board and all the people on it and how we make our decisions and how we move forward. Your excitement about learning and about kids is just infectious, and I love that. And you always just focus so much on the kids and so much on the people that you're working with and on the big issues that we have to tackle. And I want you to know that I so appreciate all the support that you've given all of us and that you've given me, especially when I was serving as president through some tough times. You really propped me up and helped me and mentored me to make the right decisions. I appreciate the honesty that you bring to the board. I appreciate just the heart that you bring to the table every time that we meet. Your laughter, I'm gonna miss when we're at our meetings, getting us through those long study sessions. And I'm gonna miss the friendship that we all have and having you on the board. I know it's gonna continue after this, but you've just made a huge impact on my life, and you've made a huge impact on the board and this district, and can't thank you enough, and I'm so glad we had you for 10 years in this role. I'll miss you, my friend, but I'll see you tomorrow, maybe.
Nan, I'd like to thank you for filling me in on a lot of the things that I didn't know about, helping me navigate Ferndale. And I really am, I was ready to retire when I did, but I'm a little bit envious that you are starting your teaching at this point in your life. You are going to be so happy doing it. I really do think there's something special about starting teaching at an older age. Not that you're old. I want you to know, I don't think you're old, but you can appreciate it, and you can bring all the things that you already know into the classroom. The kids, I know that they're going to love you. And you're going to love it. They're going to love you. I'm just going to get verklempt, so I'm going to stop right now. So thank you for everything, and congratulations on the new part of your life.
Thank you. All right, so I have a little, I know Danya and Mike, you guys like to go last, so I've got a little bit to say. I waited till the end.
Would you like to go last today?
It's up to you guys. It's my last point of pride, so I'm going hard. So just so you know, so you can let me go last.
All right. I'm going to assume that, Jim, you are done because you spent some time celebrating Nan earlier. And of course, I have the unenviable task of speaking after all of you when, of course, I intended to speak to the greatness of Nan. Nan, you're like the pioneer of the evolution of the school board in our district, and you did a lot of hard work and had a lot of conversations, had a lot of hard conversations and did a lot of hard work that made it easier for the rest of us to to more smoothly share in some of those similar ideas. So we cannot have any or I can't feel that we have any greater gratitude for you plowing that hard road for us and for the students. Because as everybody has said, it's always first and foremost about the students. And making sure that all that we're doing our work, to ensure that students have are getting what they need to be successful, all of them. So I appreciated you personally, and I too will miss your vibrant contributions to all that we do. So thank you for your years of service, because it's really service. Danya, do you want to speak?
Yeah, I'll go very quickly. There's, Nan, it's been a pleasure to work alongside of you. There's two very short stories which made not only myself a Nan fan, but also my entire family a Nan Kermuller fan. It's always the board member who they remember. They're like, was that Nan? And they know any story I'm telling of something that's funny or very passionate. They know who it is by her. But I remember when I first applied in Ferndale, we were at June Fair, and my husband was meeting me there because the interview was all day, and he was lost. I mean, there were so many people there. And
yeah, I remember that.
Nan told him, hey, Mr. Bazzi, come here. And he looks at her and he's like, how do you know who I am? And she's like, oh, we Facebook stalked you. We know all about you guys. And so and he's like, oh, great. Where's Tanya? And she took him right to me. So, and then the second thing was, I just remembered the joy that my family had when I got the job in Ferndale. They all came, and I remember we were taking pictures in front of the high school because we wanted to remember that day. It was really, my parents were happy, everybody was happy. And I remember Jen and Nan photobombing, jumping in the back of the pictures, and I still have those. And I still laugh and think about how I had no clue because I was so serious, at that point, like. And then two board members were photobombing, and I knew Ferndale was the right place to be. It's a special place, Nan, and a large part of the reason that it's special is because you've been a part of it. And the kids who have you as a teacher are really, really lucky, and I wish you the best. I wish you good health and happiness as you continue on your journey, and we'll always be here for you.
Wow, I have to say, all of this at this point in this, my first year of teaching, which it's the week before Christmas break, and it's rough. Like, I feel like I am like crawling towards the thing. That being said, I am so in love with my job, I can't even stand it. And a lot of the reason why I'm a teacher now is started with us moving to Ferndale and us getting involved with this district and me starting to volunteer at Roosevelt, and I'll saddle me being a teacher right at the feet of Heather Parinello and Judy Smith Randall, volunteering in both of their classrooms and seeing the other Ferndale teachers throughout Roosevelt. I was there for 5 years with and then Coolidge. And I just started pegging away at my classes, and it's always been the passion of everybody in Ferndale that's really motivated me. But I have a whole bunch of things to say, so hold on. And I wrote down notes because I knew I was going to get really emotional, so I wouldn't know. So it starts right back with, I'd like to give a nod out to Christy Stoll. I ran with her to get on the board, and Christy and I are very different people, and she met me at my most dogmatic, self-righteous period of my life, and yet she still liked me. And working with her and working with someone where she really taught me so much about seeing how other people view our district, and it made me a better person. Kevin Dean Krause taught me how to love data. Woo, data. Jim, oh my gosh, yes, you helped run the campaign against me. But then we become BFFs, and I love you for that. I love that I came to you and asked you for help on my first year on the board, and immediately you were all in and so willing to help me with all of your expertise, and you're just incredible memory and knowledge about Robert's Rule of Order and everything else. You taught me so much about logic, and that like I need to lean into someone who works in much different way than I do. And being able to partner with you and bounce ideas off of you has changed the way that I approach most problems in my life at this point. Looking for someone specifically who does not work and think in the same way that I do. I don't think I would have ever learned that if I hadn't met you. Amy Butters taught me how to communicate and communicate more. Rayline, be kind and tell people that they are valued. Rayline, your heart, you just, so much about that. Karen, ask questions. Jen and Jackie, both of you, because I came up with the same thing. Cool and calm leadership feels really good. It feels good to be a part of something where the leader is cool, calm, and collected, even when there are people within that realm that are not cool, calm, and collected. And that by being cool, calm, and collected, you can change the way that things play out and the way that everyone else reacts to situations. I strive to be like that. It is not a strength that's within my wheelhouse, and I've always really respected the fact that both of you have the ability to take a deep breath and not react. It's incredible. Mike and Anna, both of you at different times brought me energy at a time when I was flagging of being on the board. You came onto the board and you're stoked, you're hyped up. And at that point I was kind of like, yeah, dude, I'm done. I'm done volunteering 1 million hours a week. But then when you came, you like reignited my excitement, and then I was jazzed about it again, and how amazing. And Mike, you have always been really good at like finding a clarity of purpose and somehow reminding me that I need to find mine. I don't know, it's been really important to me, just so that you know. Sandra, dude, you taught me how to be a better advocate and how to listen and watch. I am a much better listener now. Before I would jump in and always feel like I needed to speak. I needed to like have someone's back, or I needed to make sure. And now like it's been this really hard but amazing lesson. And I can just watch you listening and watching and like see what's going on. I don't know, it's very cool and I really appreciate it. Danya, you came at a time when we really needed you. Day one, 24 family members arrived with you, something like that. I don't know, maybe there was 3. And you had this huge family that was all about you, and it was so cool. And then immediately your entire family became like enveloped the Ferndale family. So whereas I always worry that Ferndale is going to be too overwhelming for us, or too overwhelming for other people that come in, like we're going to be like all when you came with your squad, then I was like, oh no, she's, you know, like, and it was amazing. It's been great. Like you came in, you were all in, and for me, like just that all in spirit, like I was so down with it, like right from the get. Like how lucky is Ferndale that we get to have your passion? Like you work so hard and you care so deeply and you are so willing to be challenged. I love that I can fight with you and you will fight back with me, and that like you've changed my mind. I think I've changed your mind sometimes, and it's great. I love that you always stand up. You never back down when you really believe in something. So cool. Teachers. Oh my gosh, hold on. I have more on here. Oh, there we go. The paras, the teachers, the secretaries, the bus drivers, the custodians are now, whoop, whoop, you're the best. It has been an honor. And I have always tried to have your back because you are the front line and the most important part of this district. I said that earlier. I'm going to say it again. It's the truth. The administrators, everyone in here, the heart of Ferndale is what makes this really special. Also, like the volunteers. I mean, volunteers, totally the bee's knees, period. Hold on. No, the bee's knees, period. I'm totally messing up this teenage thing. All right, just pretend that I sounded really cool when I said that. Lastly, and this is the most important part, and she's still on here. When I started on this and I ran, one of my big points was the board needed people on the board that had young children. Someone who had the long vision in mind, someone who was looking forward in 10 years and it was going to impact their family. Because the decisions that you make are sometimes right in the moment, but you also make these decisions that are way off down the line. I got on the board, I felt really passionate about the fact that my kids at that point, like Vinny was in kindergarten or first grade, that he would be graduating this year, right? And that I would be here, and the decisions that I was gonna make was gonna impact that. Sarah joining is exactly what we need. Oh my gosh, she's gonna be so amazing. She's coming onto this board right at a time when someone like me should be gracefully stepping down. It's a really important part of the board project, like the process. Going onto the board, putting your all into it, but then gracefully retreating, making sure that you're still supporting those other people that are coming in to take your place. But she's going to be coming on and doing her whole own thing. She has a whole different vision for what's on the board. And I know that when I joined the board and I was that new person, it was a much different board. I know that it will be different and that everyone on this board is going to embrace her and listen to her new ideas and take into account how this is going to impact her and all of her peers' friends. And how exciting is it that we have someone who has that passion and that long-term thing that will directly impact their family. And then she's got all of these other people who have like, all of you old-timers, who have all this historical knowledge of everything that our district has gone on, that's gone on in our district. All the really wonderful things that have happened in our district and all the really not wonderful things that have happened in our district that we need to remember, and we need to make sure that people going forward know about it. So that way we can make sure that we never fall back into that. We're always striving forward with equity. We're fighting against racism. We're doing all these things that have been like we're a really staunch part of Ferndale not so long ago, right? And bucking out against that system, it's hard. And it's just going to take strong and steady work. And I know they're all going to do it. And I love you all so much. And I can't tell you, being on the board has changed me forever. And I love you all so much. And I know this is really long, longest Point of Pride ever, but I'm taking it. All right. Mwah!
We love you. And you've made the board better.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nan, for all your years of contributions and for the contributions you will continue to make even off the board to our district. And that will conclude our meeting tonight. This meeting is adjourned at 8:54 p.m. Thank you all. Good night.